everyone, welcome back to Lawry's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a copycat recipe of the famous Hamburger Helper cheeseburger macaroni. Now this was something I grew up eating a lot whenever we were in a hurry and my mom didn't have time to cook a full meal from scratch. This would be one of our favorites. And I do know that I did use this for my kids growing up when we were in a hurry, and it is still a family favorite. So it's even better when you make it from scratch in the Instant Pot, and you'll be surprised at how easy it is. You can even make it with gluten-free noodles. So let me show you what it looks like. So come along with me and let's make some homemade Hamburger Helper in the Instant Pot together. Let's take a look at the ingredients needed to make this recipe. You're going to need 1 pound of lean ground beef, 2 pounds if you want it really meaty, 3 cups of chicken broth, 3 cups of uncooked macaroni noodles, and these can be gluten-free rice noodles if you prefer, 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese, 1 cup of Parmesan Reggiano cheese, or plain Parmesan, 2 tablespoons of chopped dehydrated onion, a tablespoon of ketchup, a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of your favorite seasoned salt. I like Tony's Creole seasoning, half teaspoon of black pepper, half a cup to 1 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 to 3 teaspoons of mustard powder, and 4 tablespoons of butter. If you'd like, you can put some parsley flakes for garnish. Let's begin. First, we're going to push the saute button on our Instant Pot, and that's going to warm up so we can brown our hamburger. In a few seconds, you'll hear a couple of beeps. You'll know it's on. And then we'll wait for the display to show hot. Once it's hot, we're ready to start cooking. We're going to throw in our 1 pound of ground beef. Mine is a little bit frozen in the middle, but if you just use your spatula, you can break it up, and you can see the heat is already starting to cook the meat. And just break it up into small pieces. And the point is to get it all browned. The whole browning process should take you about 4 to 5 minutes. If you're doing 2 pounds of ground beef to make it meatier, it might take about 6. Once your meat looks like this and you ensured there's no meat sticking to the bottom, you've scraped the bottom of your pan, it's time to start adding in all the ingredients. First, we're going to add in all the spices. Some dehydrated onion, black pepper, garlic powder, and the kosher salt. Next, we're going to add in the mustard powder. That's 2 to 3 teaspoons, and I'm going to mix all the seasonings together. Now I'm going to add in my 3 cups of chicken broth. Give it a good mix. I almost forgot to add in my 3/4 of a teaspoon of seasoned salt. Mix that in. Now it's time to put in the pasta and the 4 tablespoons of butter. Now you mix it in pretty well, but you don't necessarily have to dig the hamburger and mix it all the way thoroughly. You're trying to just coat the pasta with the broth so it'll be under the water when it's cooking. Now I'm going to put in my tablespoon of ketchup. Just sort of dab it in there so it incorporates just a little bit. Now it's time to put on the lid. I always make sure my ring is on properly. Close my lid, lock it into position, and ensure that the valve is set to sealing, not venting. Now we go to our control panel and we're going to hit cancel, press the pressure cook button, ensure it's set to high, and we only need to cook this for 4 minutes. And so I need to bring my control down all the way to 4 minutes. It had been previously set to 30-some minutes. Once you know it's on, you'll hear a couple of beeps. And now we just wait for it to get to pressure. Make sure it's on high pressure. Once it reaches pressure, it'll say 4 minutes. And now we're letting it count down. And now you can see there's 1 minute left of time cooking under pressure. Once the 1 minute has completed, you'll see it will say L00, That's letting you know that the pressure cooking time has completed. I let it sit for a natural release of 1 minute, which is L001. Now you're going to see me perform what we call a controlled release instead of a quick release. I'm using a silicone glove and I'm slowly letting out spurts of pressure little bit by little bit. Because I cooked pasta and pasta is notorious for foaming over when you cook it, I'm doing this to ensure I don't have a whole bunch of spillage coming out of my vent. So I keep doing a controlled release until I feel comfortable that I can leave it on a quick release and let it complete from there. Once the pin drops, it'll be time to safely open the lid. I'm going to unlock the lid, lift it up, and look at my cooked pasta. Now it's going to feel a little bit sticky. You can see that the hamburger meat has stuck to the bottom just a tiny bit, but it's easy to scrape it off with my wooden spatula, and I'm incorporating the meat with all the pasta. And in this case, you'll see I actually used gluten-free noodles, but they would have come out just the same with regular whole grain pasta. One thing that's different when you cook with gluten-free pasta, it's a little more starchy, so you may need a little bit more milk. So I pour in about half the milk at a time. It's always to start slow with the milk, and you can always add more later. Now it's time to add in all the cheese, my 2 cups of shredded cheddar and my 1 cup of Parmesan Reggiano. Take my spatula, mix it around. And right now the Instant Pot is on the keep warm cycle. I don't really need to put it into saute to warm it up. The pan is very warm right now from the pressurized cooking, so it's warm enough to melt all the cheeses. If I felt that it wasn't warm enough, I could always put the saute back on, but I would put it on low. Well, since I'm using the gluten-free pasta, I felt like I need the full cup of milk in order to get the right consistency. So now I'm just going to make sure I stir it all the way well, get it thoroughly incorporated, and as you can see, it's starting to look like old-fashioned Hamburger Helper. You can see the pasta, the bits of hamburger, the seasoning. It smells just like the real thing. As I always recommend, you ensure that the seasonings are just right. Give it a taste. If anything needs adjusting, put in a little more spices. Otherwise, you can keep it in here under keep warm to serve it, or scoop it out and eat it right away. After putting it into a serving dish, I sprinkle it with a little bit of parsley. And look how good this looks. It's cheesy. You can see the chunks of hamburger meat. And it tastes delicious. It tastes even better than the boxed Hamburger Helper. You know exactly what ingredients are going into it. Homemade is always best. Try to make this for your family this week. And there you have it. Hamburger Helper cheeseburger macaroni, made homemade. If you enjoyed this recipe, please give my video a thumbs up and comment down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell to be informed when my next weekly video is available. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.